back to another Post-Media Ottawa Senators panel, the final one of the season. I'm Bruce Garrioch, pleased to be joined today by Wayne Scanlan, columnist for Sportsnet.ca and a former Ottawa Citizen columnist, and Nick St-Pierre, the French play-by-play voice of the Ottawa Senators on Unique 94.5 FM. Guys, we all had a chance, to be in the room on Sunday and listen to General Manager Pierre Dorion. On Saturday, the players and coach DJ Smith wrapped it up. Nick, let's start with you. Both DJ and the general manager talked about this club making progress. Did they?
I think we have to agree with that in a certain level. As a whole, the team maybe for some people like regress, but at the moment they said that our vision changed. The moment we gave up for this season, we had to focus on the individual aspect of the development, and I think on that level, we can say mission accomplished. Everybody from that nucleus, Sousa particularly, Tkachuk, Formanton even, all those guys grew up another level, maturity-wise, experience-wise, technical-wise. So on that level, I have to agree. And we can only hope that by developing the individual aspect for that portion, for the end of the season, for this season, we'll be more prepared to create a whole to start really well next season. That's what I'm hoping for.
You know, Wayne, I think the right guys, as Nick mentioned, I think the right guys developed in that situation. After the 110 and 1 November, because of COVID and whatnot, they were done.
Yeah, and as Nick says, so much development with the young core. Drake Batherson, was their best forward until he got hurt, and then you had Brady Tkachuk stepping up, Josh Norris, Tim Stützle. So very exciting to see what these guys can do in the future if they can sort of augment that core. They finished strong, Bruce, as they did last year. Got good goaltending down the stretch, just as they did last year. Can they carry this forward? So that was kind of a resounding theme of the discussion on the weekend as well. How do they get off to a better start next year? And then, of course, they talked a little bit about changing camp and maybe adding exhibition games, but really having a focus on a good start to next season.
One of the guys we did see emerge, and both of you mentioned him, is Tim Stützle. And Stützle has been, I think about a year ago, the late Eugene Melnick was on a Bob McCown's podcast. He mentioned that Coach DJ Smith said they needed a winger and a top two center. Wayne, let's start with you. Do you think Tim Stützle has solved the center issue? I do.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's any question. Now the question is he your number one center or is Josh Norris your number one? It almost doesn't matter. I mean, you need two top centers. You can go back and forth, So now I think the bigger issue is finding someone to play with Tim Stützle. But it's one thing for fans and media to get excited about a player, but when you listen to the coaching staff, when you listen to Josh Norris, who's could be a rival of this guy, talk about how he's got the best seat in the house on the bench, watching Tim Stützle, when you've got a GM who's got to pay this guy, talk about how this is the one guy I pay for a ticket to go and watch.
And then he said, I better slow down.
Yeah. What does that tell you about the excitement level around this young man? He's going to be just so much fun to watch in the year to come.
Your thoughts, Nick?
Well, I think I couldn't agree more with what just Wayne said and what everybody's saying about, but nothing's perfect. He still has a lot to get better at. And one thing that I would put on his to-do list to start next season, maybe less east-west kind of game, play more north-south, less complicated, be more aggressive to shoot more. His average per game is .244. When you compare it to Austin Matthews, who's number one at more than 4 per game, I think if he can get closer to the 3 per game, that would help him produce more offense, obviously. And at the face of circle, he's at 38%. So if he can get closer to 50, that's what we want for a good center. He's only going to get better. And like Pierre said, and everybody's going to say, I would pay to go see him. He's worth the ticket. So I can only hope for better days for next year and a more dominant season offensively for him. So the future is only better.
One of the things I think the Senators have to do is attract some free agents because Chris Tierney is gone. Tyler Ennis has been told he won't be back. Victor Mete had asked for a trade before the deadline, was given the opportunity to work out his own deal and couldn't find anyone who would take him. Um, I'm not sure if they're going to bring Adam Gaudette back. I do think that Dylan Gambrell will be brought back as a depth center, but they need someone, Nick, to play with Stutzla. They need, and this is no offense to Connor Brown, but they need someone better than Connor Brown, don't they? And Pierre Dorion talked on the weekend about the difficulty of attracting free agents here. Is that something they're better to do by trade, or can you get that guy through free agency? Nick, let's start with you.
I think it would start with to help and to have the best chance for yourself has to go for a trade. And we won't lie to each other. I think the market right now is not the sexiest for a free agent, and you'll have to put lots of dollars. And Seth said it, and Pierre said it, give more for a player that we hope is going to be on the top six. If we trade, we have a better chance to know exactly what kind of player we're going to have, and we won't have to actually sell the place. So to give yourself a best chance, maybe by trade. If not, well, see if Chabot and Tkachuk can actually sell well to a free agent that we want to have. It won't hurt to have them aboard to actually sell the place. But to answer your question, definitely the best chance would be by a trade and not by free agency.
Well, Wayne, and one of the points I made in Tuesday's newspaper is that there are going to be teams in the first round that are going to be disappointed with how they do in the postseason. If the Pittsburgh Penguins lose, if the Minnesota Wild lose, if Tampa Bay Lightning lose their first round series to Toronto Maple Leafs, they're going to be disappointed. Boston Bruins. These are going to be teams that are going to want to make changes. I think it was you who asked Pierre Dorion about the fact that he's got a lot of assets, including prospects that are within the organization. And I think you feel, and I feel, that it's time to move some of those prospects and picks to get immediate help, isn't it?
Oh, I think so. And, the GM heard that from his own players. Particularly Thomas Chabot was rather outspoken about saying that, prospects and draft picks aren't cutting it anymore. Like, we need some support. We need help now. I think, too, Bruce, we have to think about teams. Not only will there be teams that are disappointed after round one, there's teams that are going to have salary cap issues and might be a little bit vulnerable to giving up a good player because they just can't afford to keep him. And I would think that might spring some players free. I mean, if they can get Claude Giroux signed, and we've talked about this before, if they can get Claude Giroux signed as a free agent,
we got Nick working on it. We got Nick is in the weeds right now. Hey,
so I mean, if you get that deal done, you know what, you could. He could, on the seventh day, the GM can Pierre Dorion can have a rest, as he once said.
Go ahead.
But if not, I think you might have to be creative with a trade.
Wayne is talking about teams that might have to do cap space. Imagine that scenario, like Las Vegas. Kelly McCrimmon, is he going to stay there after the elimination? I don't know, but imagine that they need cap space. Mark Stone, could we bring him back? Could we bring him back and send back Eric Brandstrom over there? I don't know. I'm just saying. But we're looking for someone who can help us on the right. We know exactly who he is. Anyway, I'm just pitching it like that. But definitely a trade with help. And it's definitely going to be the priority numero uno after they sign Josh Norris for Pierre Dorion.
I don't think with a season wrap panel that it would be complete without a discussion about goaltending. My personal feeling is we may not see, and this is not based on any sort of knowledge, my personal feeling is that we may not see Matt Murray play again. I don't know. I wasn't very encouraged by what I heard from him on Sunday. If he is back, they've talked about carrying 3 goaltenders. Wayne, I don't think that will work. So how do you kind of see that all playing out?
Yeah, like that seems like a worst case scenario. I mean, it's nice for him, if for Matt Murray, if he can come back and he can compete for a spot. I mean, that's great. That's what you want. But I almost get the sense that Pierre Dorian's talking about having 3 goaltenders because they can't count on him. So you've got to have the other 2.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's
you've got to
fair.
have
That's
Gustafsson
totally
here.
fair.
You know, yeah, you've got to have Gustafsson here to back up Anton Forsberg, and that may be your duo. I mean, it was encouraging to hear Matt Murray talk about what a good tandem he could be with Forsberg, but like you, Bruce, I tend to think that the duo might be the other 2 and not Matt Murray. We'll see how it plays out.
Nick?
I wasn't convinced for his press conference, and honestly, I think more about the human being at that level. Concussion, you never know what's happening, and I think that was a strategy, exactly, not to put pressure on nobody. Murray, yes, we're waiting for him, but I think the future belongs to Gustafsson and obviously with Anton Forsberg. We'll see what happens, but I'm just thinking about the health of Matt Murray right now. I just hope that he's going to be able to refocus, recover 100%, and who knows? By September, maybe we'll have the same discussion saying that he's not 100% and all that. So I think it's a big if for him right now, and the tandem is going to be Gustafsson and Forsberg.
Well, I thought was what I heard that was least encouraging, made me wonder if he would play again, was the fact that he was pushing right up till last week and then shut down again. That to me is not a good sign. But we will see what happens through the course of the summer. I mean, I know he does intend to play again. I've spoken to his representatives. I've spoken to Pierre Dorion about this. He and DJ Smith, and he does fully intend to play again. But I think it's a situation we're going to have to eye over the course of the summer. Last thing, before we go, we're going to put you on the spot. Nick and Wayne. Nick, let's start with you. Who is going to be the Stanley Cup champion? As we speak today, the Leafs are up 1-0, so you can pick them too.
Florida Panthers all the way. And I think that's a team, some will say, they haven't tested really against the West, competing in the East where the eight top had 100 points and more. But honestly, I think that's a team on a mission. Huberdeau, awesome, and Giroux, great addition. I'm hoping for Claude Giroux because the moment he puts that ring on his hand, that's going to be done. So he'll be definitely wanting a little bit more to come back and help us.
Signing on the dotted line with the Senators. Make sure we
go Panthers, go.
Make sure we put Giroux in the promo because you get massive hits. Go ahead, Wade.
Well, I like Florida from the East. I picked for my picks for Sportsnet.ca. I had Calgary winning it all, playing against Florida in the final. So we'll see. Calgary's got a lot going for it. I think maybe an easier path too from the West, as Nick mentioned. The East is so stacked. Potentially they beat each other up, and Calgary gets an easier ride. Colorado, of course, is a lot of people's favorites to come out of there. People have been waiting for Colorado to be the winner. Maybe this is their year, but I went with Calgary.
I've got a Florida Colorado final, and I'm picking Florida, and I'll tell you why, guys. Why? Because I will see you at the Canadian Tire Center on July 13th at 2 p.m. after Claude Giroux signs his deal. Stay tuned to Post Media for all the news from the Senators during the summer. Thanks very much to Wayne Scanlan of Sportsnet, former Citizen columnist, and Nick St-Pierre of Unique 94.5 FM for all their contributions during the regular season. And I know that Nick has got a busy football schedule ahead of him with the Red Blacks, so good luck with that, and stay tuned. For Post Media in Ottawa, I'm Bruce Garrioch.